Ever feel like your brain's operating on a different frequency than everyone else? Like you're wired to see the world in vivid detail, emotions, patterns, possibilities, while others just don't? What if I told you there's a reason for that? Today, we're diving into the fascinating overlap between the INFJ personality type and neurodivergent traits. Strap in, this isn't just about labels. It's about understanding why your mind works the way it does and how you're far from alone. 1. Neurodivergence 101. It's not a flaw, it's a framework. Before we connect INFJs to neurodivergence, let's break down what neurodivergence actually means. The term was coined in the 1990s by sociologist Judy Singer to describe brains that work outside what society considers typical. This includes autism, ADHD, dyslexia, sensory processing disorders, and more. Neurodivergent minds aren't broken, they're just wired differently. For example, an autistic person might hyper-focus on details others miss, while someone with ADHD thrives in chaos but struggles with routine. Neurodivergence isn't a checklist of deficits. It's a different way of experiencing the world. Think of it like this. If most brains are like smartphones running the same operating system, neurodivergent brains are custom-built PCs with unique software. They might crash more often in certain settings, but they're also capable of extraordinary things. Now let's tie this to INFJs. Their brains are similarly custom-built. They process emotions deeply, spot patterns like detectives, and feel overwhelmed by sensory input, traits that overlap heavily with neurodivergent experiences. 2. The INFJ cognitive stack, a blueprint for overstimulation. Every personality type in a Myers-Briggs system has a cognitive stack, a hierarchy of mental functions they use to navigate life. For INFJs, the stack goes like this. Introverted intuition, NI, extroverted feeling, FE, introverted thinking, T, and extroverted sensing, SE. Let's unpack these one by one. Introverted intuition, NI, is the INFJ's superpower. It's their ability to see connections between seemingly unrelated things and predict future outcomes. Imagine walking through a maze with a mental map. That's NI. But this constant forecasting can be exhausting, like having a mental movie reel that never pauses. Extroverted feeling, FE, is their radar for others' emotions. INFJs don't just notice when someone's upset, they feel it in their bones. This makes them great mediators, but it also means they absorb stress from their environment like sponges. Introverted thinking, T, is their inner analyzer. They dissect ideas and systems in their head, searching for logic and consistency. But when overused, it leads to overthinking, spiraling into what-if scenarios. Extroverted sensing, SE, is their weakest link. It's about being present in the moment, but INFJs often struggle here. They might zone out during conversations or trip over their own feet because their mind is elsewhere. Put it all together, and you've got a brain that's always juggling future predictions, others' emotions, and internal analysis. It's like running a marathon while solving a Rubik's Cube. No wonder INFJs often feel drained. This constant mental buzz mirrors the hyperactivity seen in ADHD or the sensory overload in autism. 3. The empathy overload. When feeling too much isn't a superpower. INFJs are often praised for their empathy, but few talk about the dark side of this gift. Imagine walking into a room and instantly sensing the mood. The tension in a co-worker's smile, the sadness behind a friend's laugh. For INFJs, this isn't a party trick, it's their default setting. They don't just observe emotions, they absorb them. This empathy overload is eerily similar to what many neurodivergent people experience. Autistic individuals, for example, might feel overwhelmed by others' emotions without knowing why. ADHDers can hyper-focus on someone's tone of voice, reading too much into it. The difference? INFJs often mask their overwhelm. They'll smile through a panic attack at a party because their FE, extroverted feeling, pushes them to keep the peace. But inside, they're drowning in a tsunami of unspoken feelings. The result? Chronic burnout. INFJs might retreat for days after social events, replaying every interaction and wondering, did I hurt their feelings? Was I too quiet? It's a cycle of overgiving and crashing that leaves them exhausted. Neurodivergent folks face similar battles, often blamed for being too sensitive when they're actually processing twice as much input as everyone else. 4. Pattern recognition. The INFJ's secret and exhausting gift. INFJs are the Sherlock Holmes of personality types. Their introverted intuition, is always scanning for patterns in conversations, behaviors, even the way sunlight filters through trees. They'll notice if a friend's texting style changes or predict a plot twist in a movie 20 minutes in. This skill isn't magic. It's a subconscious collage of details most people ignore. But here's the catch. Autistic brains are also pattern recognition powerhouses. Many autistic individuals excel in math, music, or coding because they spot rhythms and structures others miss. The overlap is uncanny. Both INFJs and neurodivergent folks can become trapped in analysis paralysis, overthinking every possible outcome until making a decision feels impossible. For example, an INFJ might agonize over which job offer to accept, imagining every future scenario. Similarly, an autistic person might freeze at a restaurant menu, overwhelmed by too many choices. It's not indecision. It's a brain that sees too much, too vividly. 5. Sensory sensitivity. When lights, sounds, and textures attack. Ever met someone who can't stand the feel of wool sweaters or flinches at loud noises? INFJs often have quirky sensory preferences. They might need absolute quiet to focus or avoid crowded malls because the chaos fries their nerves. This isn't just being picky, it's a brain struggling to filter out stimuli. Sound familiar? It's a hallmark of sensory processing disorder, SPD, common in neurodivergent conditions like autism. Both INFJs and neurodivergent folks might. Wear the same comfy clothes repeatedly. Avoid fluorescent lighting. Feel nauseous from strong smells. The difference? Society often dismisses INFJs as high maintenance, while SPD is recognized as a neurological difference. But the root issue is the same: a nervous system on high alert, treating everyday stimuli like threats. 6. Social camouflage, the art of masking. Until you can't. Masking is when someone hides their true self to fit in. Neurodivergent people do it constantly, forcing eye contact, suppressing stims like hand flapping or mimicking small talk. INFJs? They're masters of this. Their extroverted feeling, drives them to mirror social norms, even if it feels fake. At a party, an INFJ might laugh at jokes they don't find funny or nod along to conversations that bore them. Inside, they're screaming, "When can I leave?" But they'll stay for hours to avoid seeming rude. Autistic individuals face similar pressures, often described as social chameleons who exhaust themselves trying to appear normal. The toll is brutal. Both groups risk burnout, anxiety, and losing touch with their authentic selves. Masking isn't sustainable. Eventually, the mask cracks. 7. Idealism versus reality. When a world doesn't match your vision. INFJs are dreamers. They have a crystal clear vision of how the world should be. Fair, kind, full of meaning. But reality? It's messy, unfair, and often illogical. This gap between ideal and real can crush INFJs, leading to what's called an NIT loop, where they overanalyze their failures and sink into existential dread. Neurodivergent folks face similar struggles. Autistic individuals might melt down when plans change without warning. ADHDers might beat themselves up for forgetting tasks, despite their best efforts. Both groups, like INFJs, are often told to lower their expectations or be more flexible. But that's like asking a bird to stop flying. It's against their nature. 8. The paradox of loneliness in a crowded room. INFJs love people, but often feel alone in a crowd. They crave deep, meaningful connections but find small talk draining. Imagine being at a party where everyone's discussing the weather while you're dying to talk about life's big questions. It's isolating. Neurodivergent individuals relate hard. Autistic folks might struggle to connect over typical interests like sports or gossip. ADHDers might interrupt conversations accidentally, getting labeled too much. Both groups, like INFJs, often feel like outsiders, understood by few, judged by many. 9. Creativity, where INFJ and neurodivergent minds shine. Let's flip the script. These different brains aren't just about struggles, they're creativity goldmines. INFJ's blend of intuition and empathy fuels art, writing, and activism that touches millions. Think of J.K. Rowling, an INFJ, weaving the Harry Potter universe, or Martin Luther King Jr. envisioning a fairer world. Neurodivergent folks shine here too. Autism's attention to detail creates stunning artists like Stephen Wiltshire, who draws entire cities from memory. ADHD's hyperfocus can lead to inventions like the light bulb. Thanks, Edison. Different wiring? Yes. Limitless potential? Absolutely. 10. Navigating relationships. Love, friendship, and misunderstandings. Relationships with INFJs or neurodivergent partners are intense. INFJs crave soul-deep bonds but might shut down, door slam, if hurt. Autistic partners might struggle to express affection verbally, but show love through acts of service. ADHDers might forget anniversaries, but plan epic surprise dates. Misunderstandings? Oh, they'll happen. An INFJ might mistake an autistic partner's bluntness for rudeness. A neurotypical partner might think an INFJ's need for alone time means rejection. The fix? Ditch the rulebook. Communicate needs openly. I need quiet time, not because I'm mad, but to recharge. 11. Workplace woes. When your brain doesn't fit the 9 to 5 mold. Traditional workplaces are minefields for INFJs and neurodivergent folks. Open offices? Sensory nightmares. Strict schedules? Creativity killers. INFJs thrive in roles with purpose: counseling, writing, social justice. Neurodivergent minds excel in tech, arts, or fields valuing unconventional thinking. But cubicle farms? They're like forcing a fish to climb a tree. INFJs might daydream about quitting to start a nonprofit. ADHDers might hack their workload with productivity apps. The lesson? One-size-fits-all jobs don't work. Flexibility and meaning are key. 12. Coping mechanisms, from burnout to balance. Survival tips for overstimulated brains. INFJs schedule daily introvert time. Journal to untangle needs endless what-ifs. Practice saying no without guilt. Neurodivergent folks use noise-canceling headphones. Stim freely, rocking fidget toys. Advocate for accommodations like flexible deadlines. Both groups need routines that honor their rhythms. A neurodivergent artist might work best at 2 a.m. An INFJ might need Mondays off to recover from social weekends. It's not laziness, it's smart energy management. 13. Embracing neurodiversity. Why labels are tools, not limits. Labels like INFJ or ADHD aren't boxes, they're cheat code for self-understanding. Knowing you're an INFJ explains why you cry at commercials. An autism diagnosis clarifies why eye contact feels invasive. These labels aren't excuses, they're keys to self-compassion. For INFJs who see themselves in neurodivergent traits, this isn't about pathologizing. It's about permission to stim, to rest, to say, this is how I'm wired, and that's okay. 14. The future of brain diversity. Advocacy, acceptance, and INFJ leadership. The world's waking up to neurodiversity. Schools are adopting sensory-friendly classrooms. Companies hire neurodivergent talent for fresh perspectives. INFJs are poised to lead this charge. Their empathy and vision make them fierce advocates. Imagine workplaces where meetings offer quiet rooms for overstimulated brains. Job interviews focus on skills, not small talk. Productivity includes mental health breaks. That's the future INFJs and neurodivergent folks are building, one where every brain is valued. Conclusion. So, Does the INFJ brain mirror neurodivergent patterns? You bet. From sensory overload to massed socializing, the overlaps are undeniable. But here's the kicker. Whether you're an INFJ, neurodivergent, or both, your brain isn't a glitch. It's a masterpiece of human diversity, complex, brilliant, and wired to navigate the world in ways others can't. The next time you feel too much or out of place, remember, you're not broken. You're a trailblazer with a mind that sees what others miss. And in a world that needs fresh perspectives, that's not a weakness, it's your superpower.